Hello, and welcome to our Profile and Power series, where we are highlighting Black educators across our county to celebrate their work and personal stories and shine a light on the important work that they are doing in service of our students. My name is Dr. Stephen Dorsey. I'm an executive leadership coach with the San Diego County Office of Education Equity Department, and today I have the wonderful privilege of interviewing an amazing local Black educator, Dr. Cynthia Larkin, who is principal of Morse High School in the San Diego Unified School District. So as we embark on this Black History Month and look at focusing on power, it's important to understand that power. And Monique Morris always says, equity is about power and how we use it. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Larkin. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Dr. Dorsey, for the opportunity. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Well, let's just jump right in. Let's find out, what is your story, Dr. Larkin? Tell us about your experiences and backgrounds, please.
So I'm definitely a California native, born and raised here in California. I'm actually from San Francisco, so I was born. And then when I was about 12 years old, mom and dad uprooted the family, moved us to Tracy, California. This is back in the mid 1980s. So Tracy is more diverse now, but back in the 80s, it really was not. So it was definitely a culture shock moving from San Francisco, where I was one of many African-American students in the classroom, very diverse, to being one of like two African-Americans in the classroom. And so I didn't really enjoy Tracy as much. So when I had the opportunity to leave, I actually came down to San Diego, and I pursued a career or an education at San Diego State University. I kind of majored in bio initially, and that wasn't really my niche. And so I transformed, switched over to English, and took an African-American class at San Diego State, a lit class. And I just fell in love with African-American literature and the experience of African-Americans. I didn't really get that when I was, in the traditional K through 12 education. It took me to be in higher learning in order to learn really more about African-Americans and the progress and struggles we went through. And so I switched my major to an English major and graduated with a degree in English, minored in Africana Studies. And then I taught 14 years, ironically, at the same school that I'm principal. I taught for 14 years at Morse. And then I was a teacher leader there, loved leadership. And so I decided to get my admin credential from San Diego State. And then I became a vice principal at a school out here, Claremont High School. And then the entire admin team retired in the 2016-17 school year. And so I was really fortunate to go back to the school that I taught for so many years. I love Morse, and I didn't want to leave it, but it was the best decision to leave, transition to another school to get some separation. And so I came back as principal, and I love it. So now I'm the principal at Morse High School.
That is awesome. And that's quite a journey. Tracy, California. Whoa, okay.
Yes,
Well,
yes, definitely. Yeah, it was different.
You talked about kind of why you got into the education field, but how has your experience been being a Black educator?
You know what? I really loved the classroom. It was my passion. I really entered the field of education to become a role model for African-American students or students of color. Like I said, I didn't get that experience when I was in experiencing, K through 12 education. It was bleak, and again, it wasn't until I got to college that I began to really fall in love and learn about my culture or whatnot. And so as a classroom teacher, a Black female teacher at a school of color, because there was a large population of African-American students at Morse when I was teaching there, it was great connecting with my African-American females and young males. I still have positive relationships with many of my students, my former students today. So it really is a blessing. I really truly enjoyed teaching. I also enjoy being an administrator, being a principal. Being a vice principal was interesting because you are a leader in your own right, but at the same time, you're still under the leadership of the principal. And so being a high school principal, leading under my vision, and it's been phenomenal. And so I would say this, it's important to definitely lead a school that you love. I think there's so much that comes with being a principal at a high school that if you don't love the school, it can make the work hard. But when you love the school, there's some ease to it because you're passionate about it and you love the kids and the staff and the community. So that's kind of where I'm at today.
Yes, indeed. Well, and you can tell that your staff and your students are in love with you because of your energy and everything that you bring to the game. Uh, what would you say, how have your personal experience like influenced you in your education and leadership role?
Well, when I think about uh, my experience as right now as a principal, right, I feel like it's so important for me to always remember what it was like to be in the classroom, right? So it's not easy being a high school principal, and there's a lot of decisions you have to make and things of that nature. And I really feel like as long as I constantly stay connected and rooted to what it felt like to be in the classroom, as a teacher, it just really helps to, um, I don't know, how can I explain it? It basically allows me to lead with empathy and with understanding, connecting to that. I'm also someone as a classroom teacher, I was passionate about like PD, professional development, passionate about it. And so, and I always hated attending any PD that wasn't valuable or meaningful. And so, whenever I go into leading PD, I make sure that it's meaningful and that my educators or my staff will walk away with something and not feel like I wish I could have spent the last hour and a half grading papers, right? So that's also important. Also, relationship building. Like I feel like when I was a classroom teacher, I had good relationships with my students, and I still value that today. It's a little bit harder because when you're a teacher, you see your students every single day. And as an administrator, it's a little different. It's a different relationship. But I really strive to still build those positive, lasting relationships with my teachers and my students.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so now I have a really good question for you. Jump in a time machine, and we're going to take that TARDIS back to that very first day that you got hired as a young Black educator. With your experiences that you've been through now, is there any advice you could take back and share with young Cynthia now?
It'll probably go back to, if I'm just being completely honest and thinking about like my mom, as a kid, she really, like, kind of instilled in me this idea to be this medical doctor, right? And so she really was all like, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a doctor. All I remember as a kid is I'm going to be a doctor, right? I thought I'd be a pediatrician and so on. And when I, went to college, I spent, 2 or 3 years, basically majoring in biology when I didn't like science. That wasn't my thing. So if I can go back and really, talk to young Cynthia, I would say pursue your own dreams. Like, even though your parents are there to kind of guide you and mentor you and help instill various aspects of, an educational career or whatnot, I really feel like I should have just pursued, the educational field from the very beginning and not spent all that money. I'm still paying for my degrees, all that money really um, on a major that I ended up not being able to transfer really any credits to the educational field. So, follow your dreams, just kind of be clear about what maybe you want to do and just follow your own heart, your own dreams.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Our last piece, just how valuable is it to have Black teachers, administrators, counselors, support staff for our students?
I think it's extremely valuable. I reflect back again, on my experience growing up, and I really didn't see many people who look like me in the field of education. And I do think that students need to see educators in various roles, whether it's administration, teaching, counseling, or whatnot, where they can see themselves in those roles, and have role models. There's something about a role model, and I really feel passionate about the fact that um, when you're interacting with someone that you kind of relate to, like an African American student to an African American teacher or an administrator, there's something that's unspoken there, like a relationship or a bond that is there. And I really feel that our students really honestly need to see more Black educators on a daily basis, because we can also go to bat for them, support them. They have someone they can connect with, because it's no hidden fact here that the field is filled with a lot of people who are not of color. And so these people are teaching, or these teachers are teaching, students who are not of color, and sometimes there's a disconnect. So I really do feel like there is a need for more of African Americans to get into the field in order to be a role model, in order to be a champion for our African American students.
Fantastic. Dr. Larkin, you are an amazing evidence of power, and wielding that power for the good of our kids is phenomenal. I want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to chat and go deeper. Thank you so much for joining me today.
And I appreciate the opportunity as well. Thank you.
Excellent. And gang, that is another episode of our Profiles in Power for Black History Month with Dr. Cynthia Larkin, principal of Morse High School. Join us again next time. We'll have a good one. Bye-bye.